Welcome back to another episode of Short Cute Cooking. Today, I'm doing a real quick Sunday dinner. Normally, Sunday dinners, depending on what your cooking starts the night before with the prep. But since I'm doing the shortcut one, we're not doing the ham and baked macaroni and cheese and all that stuff. We're going to do the short, cute version of a Sunday dinner. That should take you about 45 minutes. But you do have to cook the meat, which is I got the new meat that I told you about last time, the pork shoulder. And it's already pre-seasoned. So I'm just going to cut some slices out of it, because I'm going to make greens in a can. I'm going to show you how to jazz those up. Now with one can, I'll need about 2 or 3 slices of these, because we just need the smoky flavor off of them. I like to start boiling those before I start actually cooking my food, so that it get out the most flavors and the meat itself gets soft, just in case you want to eat the meat with the greens. So they'll be extremely edible and not too chewy. So I'm going to use 3 slices because I like the way this meat tastes. Now what you can do is, if you plan on sharing the meat, after you cut the strips off, just cut them into nice little cubes. That way when you stir it into the greens, everybody gets a piece of the meat that's in the pot. This is just how I prep to cook canned greens, because it gives it a different flavor. It's not like, it's like you've cooked them all day, like when you do your ham hock or your turkey tail, even a pork butt. Whatever meat you use, whatever smoked meat you use, you want to have that cooked and have the flavors rendered into the actual water as much as possible. So when you do add your can to it, normally with just one big chunk of meat, I saute the meat first. So I'm going to render some of the fat off of the actual meat. I'm going to render some of the fat off the meat. And then I'm going to add some bell pepper and onion while it's sauteing. And then I add some water and a little bit of seasoning to let it boil for about an hour or 2. You don't have to boil it too long. Since we had already sliced the meat and made it smaller, you don't have to boil it as long as you would if it was a ham hock or a turkey tail. So just boil it until it's soft enough for you. You don't need a whole lot of water either, because we're going to be leaving the water that comes on the greens in the can. We're going to leave those on there. I usually leave this part on. It's just more flavor. I need to sharpen my knife. Now with us only doing 1 can, we don't need no whole bunch of bell pepper and onions. You don't want to have more of that than you would with the actual greens in the 1 can. Now everybody know how to improperly cut an onion or use a knife. Just be careful. I always take off the top layer because it gets chewy. And we don't want any chewy onions. Now with the canned greens, since they're already semi-cooked, they don't have to cook as long as you would if they were fresh greens. And I will be getting cans I get the generic brand. No seasoning, so it's just greens. There's no seasoning or anything in this. It's just the greens and the water solution. So you don't have to really worry about, like if you get the Glory greens, or they already come with seasoning and everything on it. I like to start with the ones that doesn't have any flavor on it, so I can add my own flavor into it, and it tastes more like I pick the greens myself and let them simmer for hours, than having some that come pre-seasoned, and I don't like the taste of the seasonings that's on it. I'm kind of picky that way. Now I can hear my bacon sizzling. That means it is time to add. This is the mirepoix without the celery. I do got celery. I can add some celery real quick. Let's add some celery real quick, since we do have celery, to have a proper mirepoix. Now, everybody, if you didn't see the video of my cooking tip, the mirepoix are the 3 main vegetables that we add to bring out the flavor in the dish. My mirepoix consists of, what y'all come here? My mirepoix always consists of, pick that up for me, celery, bell pepper, and onion. Sometimes carrots. If I'm doing soup, I do a mirepoix with carrots in it. Shake that pot.
We're going to take this. Oh, this cold.
Shake that pot. Yeah, shake it. It's just rendering the fat off of it before I add the stuff to it. But I forgot we had celery in there to add to my mirepoix. So I'm adding that now. Alrighty. So there we go. A quick mirepoix to add to our rendered pork meat. Okay. This is the pork meat. Oh, the light. Now the moisture from the vegetables is going to add moisture to the grease. And once it liquefies enough that the frying actually cools down into a nice simmer. So I saute the vegetables with the meat for about 5 minutes until the onions is almost translucent, which means see-through. Now with this mirepoix, normally I like for little bits and pieces to stick to the bottom of the pan. But with me going to be adding water to this and then another ingredient, I just need to sweat the vegetables in here to bring out all the aromatics, to bring out the flavor of it. It gives more flavor to the food that you're going to use it for. So this is how you want it to look. You want it to look like that right before you add your water. You can use chicken stock if you would like. I like just using a regular cup of water. Now I added it slow because we do have grease. The fat from the bacon is in here, and we don't want that to splash up on us. I'm only adding enough water to come just right at the top of the meat and vegetables. We don't want to cover it all the way up, because what we want to do is simmer it down so that it's like a little thick, like a stock almost. but like a nice, thick, well-seasoned liquid. So we're going to let that simmer for about an hour before we add our canned greens and everything else to it. So we'll just come back. Okay, so I let it boil down. So now it's like a little thick liquid, well seasoned at the bottom. Just a little bit left. I boiled them for about an hour, hour and a half at the most. So after that, I just add my can. That's why we didn't add any extra water, because this has water on it. Now I will be seasoning the greens themselves after I let it simmer. It only takes about 10 minutes for the flavors to melt together with the greens. So, got it on the medium heat. I want to bring it to a rolling boil and then slow it down and just let it simmer really slow for about 10 minutes. And then you're done. I already have my salted water right here for my macaroni. So I'm not doing the traditional baked macaroni and cheese. We're just doing some regular Velveeta's in shells. Now our traditional Sunday meals consist of the greens, the sweet potatoes, macaroni in the oven, and all of that. But we don't do that every Sunday. So it's still a Sunday dinner, it's just a more relaxed Sunday dinner. It don't take that long to cook. This been in the oven. So halfway through me cooking this steak out, I added a little potatoes. Just turned the meat over. Season it just a little more so it don't be bland when it comes out. It's already falling apart. You don't want to keep moving around. So you let it cool down before you serve it. Because if you serve it while it's too hot, all the juices come running out. So you let it cool down first before you put it on someone's plate to eat. Now, if you let it get too cold, you're going to have to reheat it. I won't recommend that. So leave it in a warm oven until everything else gets ready. Since that me recording, the reason I took it out now to show you, this is how it looks when it's done. My recordings tend to drain my battery on my phone really quick. And then it's shortage in my cord. It takes forever to charge it back up. So now with the macaroni, it's just like when I did the first Sunday, I did the macaroni just without all the extra cheese and egg and all that. You just boil it by the according to the directions. Rinse it off, add your butter, add your cheese. If you need a little bit of salt, add that. Always get one of these. I call it a spaghetti ladle because it separates the macaroni while it's cooking so they don't stick. So that this is something to have because you use for spaghetti, you use for eggs, you use for just a whole bunch of different foods. So it's good to have one of these in your closet or in your drawer for your utensils. So there you have it. Steak, greens, macaroni for short, cute cooking on a Sunday. I think we did pretty good with the timing because this only take about 10 minutes. So altogether, 10 minutes for both of these. When this is almost done is when you start on these. So by the time this get all the way done and you let it rest a little bit, these two will be getting finished. Because you can just let this simmer on its own without having to constantly watch it like you would with your macaroni. Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining me at Short Cute Cooking. This is Chef Joanne signing off. Keep it short, keep it cute, keep looking. See you guys next time. And if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll answer them as soon as I get a notification for them. And don't forget to like and subscribe.